Hello, beautiful people. Today, let's focus on the balance council changes. So let's go like from one card to another, and let's discuss the changes that happened in May. So first, the power increase, and the first card is Katakan. Yes, I agree with this change. Definitely, this card eating the buff. It's good for Necker decks, and right now with this 1 point of buff, it will be definitely harder to be destroyed. Ulula, yes, also an amazing change. With 6 points of power, it's gonna be harder to remove this card. Still, you can obviously lock it, but if you have Mahakam Ale or a Peller, let me say, or Grammys maybe, then you can combat this situation. But anyway, Ulula still needs to be played behind the defender. Weaves, also an amazing change. This Crown archetype, it was very weak. Also relics, they needed a buff, and right now we can see finally a buff for this archetype, which is very I would say beneficial for all the players. We can finally play with something different regarding monsters. Chimera, also an amazing change. Basically, not only you can have two chimeras in your deck, but also you can have another chimera since you have Dol Lucan, and then you can play the third one. Reinforced Trebuchet, to be honest with you guys, this is 5 for 5, but this is still, like, I would say, pretty random. To be honest with you, like, if you want to have any kind of benefit out of this card, then you need to have Crow. Without the Crow, I would say this card is still will not play. But right now, definitely, we're gonna see some decks being played with Crow, and then it can be like an instant engine on board. Whispers of Don Blatana, amazing card, amazing change. Finally, the spells they will get some kind of a, I would say, competitive maybe value. I was creating at least two decks with spells, and obviously they were missing something. And right now I know this is like a small change because this is only 1 point, and it still can be easily removed. But regarding the situation when this card is unanswered, if you're gonna place it in one row which is empty, then you will end up in a situation in which you will multiply this card by 9, which means for 5 points of provision it will play for 36 points. So this is huge, but it's like one of these cards that can give you a win or you will lose, or it will give you nothing. Giant Toad, also a good change for 3 points of provision. It was I would say nerfed too much. It stopped being played, and I would say that's not the case. Right now, once again, we're gonna see definitely Overwhelming Hunger being played. Naglfar Taskmaster, a very weak Purifier, one of the weakest one in the game. I would say it will have not any kind of an impact in the game because, like, I would say maybe it was played, like one copy was played in White Frost, that's it, so it will be only like 1 point of buff. But this is a change also for good, because definitely this card it needed a buff. Then we have Vrihead Officer, very good change because this card was not being played at all. Right now the elves are getting buffed this season, so this is like one of these cards that got buffed, and I would say definitely this is a change for good. Although this is still not enough, I would say that 5 points of power that would do the job. Then we have Vernosil Commando, amazing card. This is a card that can be played only in, like, I would say, devotion decks, and only you need to have elves, so it's still conditional. But right now, 4 for 4 as an engine, this is a very good change, and it's gonna be played. Then we have decrease in power. I was also opting for this change because with Kraken the story goes like this, that you pay a lot because 13 provision it's like really expensive card, but the outcome of this card, it's like, I would say, random. Sometimes it can pay off, sometimes it's not. So I would say for 13 points of provision you expect something more. You expect something that this card will be consistent, and it will give you for 13 points of provision, I would say, like minimum 25 points. Well, that wasn't the case with Kraken. Right now it will be definitely much easier to be removed, which is great. And second of all, I would say that maybe it's gonna be finally playable, you know, because I would say that when it was like 6 for 13, that was like too much, guys, and I was, this is like, on one hand this is a buff, on the other hand this is a nerf, because once it's coming back to you, you will only get 4 points, but I would say, you know, that's the way it should be at, and I don't think that this card needs any kind of changes. Then we have King Radovid, also a good change. Still this deck from Northern Realms, it's a meta. I know that many guys, they still play it and nothing has changed, so only this 1 point of power, it will not change anything. Obviously it's good that we are going in this direction, that we are nerfing this archetype, because I mean, like, whoever wants to get a high MMR, you will see these people grinding with this deck, and also if they want to get to MMR, they will do it probably in 2 days maximum with this Northern Realm deck. Reinhardt, I don't know if this is a good change. We will see. I don't have opinion about it, but I would say like buffing hospitality. It's a little bit insane. Thanks God this card doesn't have 9 points of provision, because otherwise it would be played in every single hospitality deck, and then it would be a problem, because then the Necker would get really buffed. But since if it's like 4 for 10, this is not a huge change. Joachim the vet, I don't understand this change. I don't know what's the like reasoning for it. Statuses, they really play well. If they are not responded, if you don't hit wave, if you don't have something to lock Philip van Morlacham, then you are in big trouble. So I would say like giving them additional buff makes no sense for me, and this is a change that anyway, the thing is that you can play this Joachim the Welt even 5 times. And I was facing the decks that you can play Joachim 5 times, so you can imagine like how crazy value it can create. Artorius, yes, I would say that's the play it should stay at. Like this card doesn't need any additional changes. Nausicaa Sergeant, my opinion is very simple. It should be at 4 points of power. I know it's pretty heavy, but that's my opinion. But the card that should be changed is Slave Driver, and Slave Driver should be changed from 5 points provision to 6 points of provision without the change of the power. That's the only change that should be done regarding this combo. This is a card that triggers assimilate, so this is not like 10 plus 2 you know, armor for 6 points of provision. No, that's not the case. The case is that it also has a super synergy with assimilate, and then it shines. And once you will also add slave drivers to this combination, and they are only for 5 points of provision, I mean, this is like a crazy, guys, situation, and it cannot stay like this. Most probably it's like one of these yo-yo changes, so next month it will go once again up to 4 points. Then we have Temerian Infantry. I would say like just leave this card. Don't like try to destroy it completely. Right now it's gonna play for how much it's gonna be, 12 for 6, so this is the sweet spot. I would say that's exactly where this card should be, and this card doesn't need any additional changes, so this is exactly where it should be at. Then we have Imperial Practitioner, card which is played like really rarely. I don't think that it's gonna have like any kind of an impact on a game. This is only played in this like crazy decks, and also sometimes with cultists, but this is the only like place for this card, and I haven't seen this card, to be honest, guys, for a while, and only it's played in this crazy deck that the guy is putting in your deck a cultist scenario. That's one thing, or Tibor, and these are the only 2 decks that I see this card. Naiad Pondkeeper. Well, I don't think that was the problem. The problem is Oquen, not the Naiad Pondkeeper. Actually, in my opinion, Pondkeeper should stay where it was without any changes, but the problem is it's with Oquen, because Oquen creates a crazy tempo, and it should be a card that will give a nerf, and that will get one more point of provision. And then we have the last card, which is Oxenford Guard. I don't agree with this change. I don't think it was that great that it can. It has to be like, you know, like 3 plus 2. points of armor. I think that where it was before, it was the sweet spot. That wasn't the problem. The problem was like the other cards, that they were like you know, like Open Sesame, and also the cards with Vice ability, but not definitely the Oxenford guard. This is only like a tool that you use when you have the Open Sesame. But even if it's gonna be like, let me say, at 5 points of provision, people will just gonna replace it with brawlers and with some other cards that they are coin spenders, and I mean, that's pretty much it. So I don't think it's gonna have a big impact on the game. Then we have provision increase and imperial formation. I don't know what is the reason of buffing this leader ability, because they are definitely weaker leader abilities. This is definitely not the weakest one. It's like something for something. So right now the Nausicaa Sergeant went by 1 point down. They got 1 point of boost. So let me say it like it's in a balance, but I don't agree with this, because right now at 16 points of provision it's super high. And then if you're gonna compare this one into some other leader abilities at 16 points of provision, this is definitely stronger. The same goes with double cross. Double cross at 16 points of provision is way too much. So I don't agree with both of the changes. There are some archetypes, like let me say Pirate's Cove, which is by far weaker, because if you're gonna think about like what you can get out of the double cross, let me say you can get Oneromancy, or from the double cross you can get Vilgefortz or Heatwave or this or that. Out of Pirate's Cove as a leader ability, the only thing that you can get, you will get 2 spenders, which are like 4 points of provision. So you're getting like a very weak card, like for, you know, basically you're getting like 8 points of provision. That's all what you're getting here. Like the sky is the limit. You can get anything. If you play Renfrey and you will get a double cross, you can get additional Renfrey by using double cross. So you're getting a card which is right now at 14 points of provision. So you can imagine like what's the like I mean it's not even comparable, you know. Karitrolde at 12 points of provision. I knew it's gonna happen sooner or later. I was thinking maybe this month is gonna be the last month for Karitrolde at 11 points of provision. I don't know. For me, at 12 points of provision, it's too much. It was like 11 points of provision, guys. It was like the sweet spot, in my opinion. You have to bear it in your mind that when the red team, they created this card, it was at 9 points of provision. So it already got nerfed twice, and this is the third nerf. I would say this is too much, because if you think about it, like what you can get, if you are lucky, okay, then you're getting something which is useful, like Uncreate Greatsword, Uncreate Longship, which is also conditional. Like both of these cards, they are conditional. They can pay off, but maybe they will not pay off at all because they are automatically removed. If you think about the other cards that you're getting over here, it's garbage, guys. This is garbage, and there's nothing here that is like worth playing. With the 6 points of removal, basically there are cards that can give you 6 points of removal for 6. So this is like right now the most you can get. The best card is like this is a card at 6 points of provision plus 6 points of removal, which is like also 6 points. So you're getting like 12 for 12. Is it good? In my opinion, it's not. This is then this card becomes, it's gonna be still played. Don't get me wrong, but I would say this is like it's just decent. It's nothing extraordinary. Hive Mind, yes, I agree with this change, because Hive Mind can basically win the game, and definitely once you're gonna play it, and if you don't have some answers to the Hive Mind, then the round is already lost. It can also create a carryover for the next round, so you can imagine that this is pretty challenging. It will not change anything, because still in the Tatterwing Araka Swarm deck it will still be played. They will just replace one 5p card for one 4p card, and that's all. But okay, this is some kind of a nerf for this deck, which is still in the meta, and this is the best. I think this is the best monsters deck in the game right now. Donimir of Troy, I don't understand this change. I don't know what's the point of like giving a defender 10 points of provision. I understand that this is the repercussion of this deck with all these mages regarding Northern Realms, and that's why like they try to nerf this deck, which is in meta. But I would say like that's not the like the right path to do it. If you want to change something, just do something about the archetype, not like about Donimir, because then we are like going in this direction that all the defenders should be at 10 points of provision, which makes absolutely no sense, because then nobody will gonna play them. And sometimes they are like this is like additional challenge. So I would say like I don't agree with this change, and nor do I agree with this change. For me, this is like, I mean, there's no reason for this. So this is both of the changes I completely don't agree with this. Spring equinox. Usually you can get the most 10 points for 6. So this is an overspill, guys. At my opinion, 5 points of provision, that was the sweet spot. The problem was not spring equinox or the pond keepers. The problem is the Oquen. Oquen is by far too strong, and once it's placed on board, and if it's not answered, and if you have veil, it will not be answered, then basically the round is lost. So this is the problem. Oquen, not the spring equinox or pond keepers. A master of puppets, definitely this card should have been changed long time ago. At 5 points of provision, that was just simply ridiculous. And right now, finally, it is changed. And what is the best is that some of the guys, they tend to play this card 3 times, because obviously if they have Artorius Vigo, they also play the third copy of this card. So you can imagine like what kind of crazy value it can create. Highland Warlord, I don't agree with this change. Basically, the Kertrolde and Highland Warlord, that's why they received this nerfed, only because like people, they are fed up with this archetype, and they just want to completely destroy it. And the outcome of the situation will be that basically right now the raids are garbage, because this is already like 3 points of provision. So I would say this is too much. So definitely, in my opinion, although some guys, they could masterpiece this playing this deck, in my opinion it was definitely not the strongest one in the game. It really was facing like some challenges, and right now after the nerfs it will be just simply weak. Duchess Informant, I also don't agree with this card. I think at 4 points of provision, it was very interesting, and that was a good buff for Nilfgaard. Plus, that you could also play this card with Braytons. That also gave him a buff, and you could see Braytons being played more in the game. So I would say that was like really something interesting. Like we got back in the days that Brayton was played, and also the Duchess Informants were played. Right now, this is, I would say, too much. That was a change that was unnecessary, and for me, at 4 points of provision, this card was very interesting, and I really enjoyed playing with it. Then we have decrease of provision, rent-free. Yes, this is a change for a good. For 15 points of provision, that was definitely too expensive. Feign Dead, I was also voting for this card. I don't remember if I did it also this month, but definitely I did it at least twice, and this is definitely a good change, because elves, they needed some buff, and that was the first card that should have been changed long time ago. Oneiromancy, amazing change. I mean, I find it like a little bit like controversial, because in my opinion, right now you will have Oneiromancy in every single deck. Obviously you can have an answer to it, because like right now Square will be also probably in most of the decks, but this is a huge, guys, this is a huge game changer. And for 12 points of provision, basically you're getting 2 golds, which is like you pay right now for 1 gold card to draw it, 6 points. This is great, guys. This is a very good deal, and definitely I will include Oneiromancy in the great majority of my decks. I have never seen a change like this. I always remember that Oneiromancy was at 13 points of provision, and that was like this, like like the heat wave, it's always at 10, defenders always at 9, Oneiromancy always at 13. Right now, something has changed. I don't know. For me, this is only like going in the right direction, that finally more gold cards can be included in the deck. So this is and also the thinning and consistency will be better. So this is only because of this I'm voting for like, I'm okay with this. But then if Oneiromancy is for 12, then you have some other cards which are tutors, and they will not be played because they are too expensive if you're gonna compare them to Oneiromancy. Shops, yes, this is also a good change. I would say at 11 points of provision, that's pretty interesting. Radaya got buffed last season, right now shop, so definitely it will create a situation in which shop's decks will be played a lot. Professor, also a good change. It was like completely forgotten back in the days. I don't remember how many years ago, but I would say like approximately 2 years ago, this card was in the meta. Since that, so many cards got buffed, and Professor, he basically remained at the same spot, and he was completely forgotten. So I would say that this is a very good change, and hopefully some nice decks can be created. Count's Riven Treasure, one of the best changes in this season. Definitely I'm gonna create a deck with this card, because this is super interesting crime card, which is also a location, and this is definitely, guys, worth playing, and you can really have fun with this card. Avalanche Stage, in my opinion, this is like top 3 changes. Oneiromancy, Avalanche Sage, and also this River's Treasure. These are like my 3 favorite changes in the game, and this card, it's underestimated, but this is great, guys. So right now you're drawing every single scenario, and you don't need Oneiromancy for this, and you can get a scenario by playing Avalanche Stage. So this season for sure is going to be a situation in which you're getting Avalanche Stage in every deck that you want to play the scenario, and also you're getting Oneiromancy to get two of your goals, some important cards. So it means that definitely this season we will have some really strong decks, and it's gonna be like, I would say, the best season this year. Hermione, definitely a great change. I was also voting for this card, like for all the other cards which are tutors. Not only Hermione should be changed, but there are plenty of cards at 8 points of provision that should go to 7 points of provision, especially if you're gonna compare this to fair card. Fair card, it's also a thinner, and a fair card has 3 points of power for 6 points of provision. So if these cards, they are at 2 points of provision, definitely all of them should be not at 8 points of provision, but at 7, and that would make them even to Nilfgaard. Brewers, very good change. That's the way it should stay. The Crown archetype was not played at all, and the thing is that once you're gonna play Brewers, then you need to play Weavers, then you need to play Whispers, and then it means that you need to play all of them. Brewers can be only used in also in Overwhelming Hunger, just to as a consumer, and then you don't play obviously Weavers and Whispers, but like regarding relics, you need to play all 3 of them. So then it means that this is a very, very good change. Self-Eater, I really like this change. If you're gonna compare this card to the other ones, at 6 points of provision, that was by far too expensive, especially that you have to like think about what kind of removal tools has your opponent. Sometimes you couldn't divide it, so it was like really tricky. I would say right now this is the sweet spot, and let's hope it's gonna stay this way, because Relic archetype, even after all these changes, because it got 1 buff here, so it means that 2 cards got buffed, so it means 2 additional points of provision, plus here you have Brewers with 1 point, and then additional point of this, so it means like 3 points of provision plus 1 point of power, and I don't think it's gonna be a meta deck. Even if you're gonna combine this with Necromancer's Tome, it will not do much. Guys, let me know in the comment section what do you think about the changes. I really want to know your opinion, and thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time and support. Please like, subscribe, and comment, guys, and see you in the next video. I'm planning to make more videos at the beginning of the month, and I will try to bombard you with the videos, because I have many ideas, because later on in the second period of the month, unfortunately I will have some serious things regarding my work, and also traveling a lot, so it will be very difficult for me to record anything. That's why, like, until the 11th of May, I will try to record as much as it is possible. Later on, unfortunately, it's gonna be pretty challenging for me. Anyway, see you guys in the next video, and bye bye.